The best way to predict your future is to create it. Most people live their lives waiting for motivation, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for someone to show them the way. But what if I told you that everything you need to become your best self is already within you? You don't need permission, luck, or perfect circumstances. You just need the right mindset, the right habits, and the discipline to take action. The truth is, success isn't something you find, it's something you build. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop. And discipline isn't a gift, it's a muscle that you train every single day. The difference between those who reach their full potential and those who stay stuck is simple. The ones who succeed decide to create their best selves instead of waiting for life to shape them. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're ready to stop making excuses, and if you're serious about transforming your life, you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to give you the exact steps to design, build, and embody the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I reveal the powerful principles that will unlock your full potential and help you take control of your future. Let's dive in. Number 1, reprogram your mind. Everything you do, every decision you make, and every habit you build is driven by one powerful force, your self-identity. Who you believe you are determines what you think you can achieve. If you see yourself as lazy, undisciplined, or incapable, your actions will always align with that belief. But if you reprogram your mind to see yourself as strong, disciplined, and capable of success, your entire life will change. Your identity is like the software running in the background of your mind, dictating how you behave, how you respond to challenges, and what you believe is possible. The good news is that just like software, it can be rewritten. Science has proven that the brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can be reshaped and rewired with the right inputs. The thoughts you repeat, the words you tell yourself, and the beliefs you reinforce daily all create neural pathways that become your reality. The first step in creating your best self is defining who you want to be. If you don't take control of your identity, it will be shaped by external forces, society, your past experiences, or the opinions of others. Stop letting outdated beliefs dictate your future. Instead, create a new identity statement that aligns with the person you want to become. Instead of saying, "I'm bad at discipline," say, "I am more disciplined every day." Instead of, "I'm not a morning person," say, "I wake up early because I am in control of my time." The way you speak to yourself matters. Your words shape your reality. When you tell yourself something repeatedly, your brain starts believing it. That's why affirmations, visualization, and identity-based habits are powerful tools for reprogramming your mind. Every day, speak and visualize the identity you want to embody. If you want to be more confident, visualize yourself walking into a room with presence, speaking with clarity, and owning your space. If you want to be more productive, see yourself working with focus, completing tasks efficiently, and enjoying the process. But identity is not just about thoughts, it's about action. Your brain believes what you repeatedly do. If you want to identify as a disciplined person, prove it to yourself through small, consistent actions. Set a tiny, non-negotiable daily habit, like waking up 5 minutes earlier, reading 1 page of a book, or exercising for 5 minutes. These small actions send a signal to your brain. This is who I am now. Over time, they compound into massive transformation. Most people try to change their life by forcing themselves into new habits with sheer willpower. But real, lasting transformation happens when you shift your identity first. Instead of trying to eat healthy, become a healthy person. Instead of trying to work harder, become a disciplined individual. Once your identity shifts, the right actions will follow effortlessly. The most powerful way to cement this change is through repetition. Every morning, remind yourself of the person you are becoming. Throughout the day, make choices that align with this new version of yourself. The more you reinforce your identity through thought and action, the faster it becomes reality. Right now, take a moment to write down your new identity statement a declaration of who you are becoming. Read it every morning and act in alignment with it daily. Your mind is the foundation of everything. Reprogram it, and your best self will follow. Number 2, the art of self-leadership. Leadership is often misunderstood. Most people think of it as a position of authority, a role reserved for CEOs, managers, or public figures. But real leadership begins with mastering yourself before you ever attempt to lead others. The strongest leaders are not those who command, but those who inspire through their actions. If you want to create your best self, you must first learn to lead yourself with discipline, clarity, and purpose. Self-leadership means taking full responsibility for your life. It means eliminating excuses, refusing to blame circumstances, and stepping up to take control of your thoughts, actions, and habits. Many people drift through life, waiting for someone to push them forward, but no one is coming to save you. The moment you decide to be your own leader is the moment your transformation begins. The difference between those who achieve success and those who remain stuck is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It's self-discipline. The ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it, is what separates the best from the rest. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you build self-trust. But every time you break a promise to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are unreliable. This is why most people struggle. They set goals, fail to follow through, and subconsciously teach themselves that they are incapable of change. The key to developing leadership is creating non-negotiable standards. You must define the values that will guide your decisions, no matter how difficult or inconvenient they become. If you decide that integrity is a core value, you must hold yourself accountable to it, even when no one is watching. If discipline is a value, you must act in alignment with it every single day, not just when motivation strikes. The biggest mistake people make is relying on willpower alone. Willpower is limited and unpredictable, but systems and identity-based decisions create lasting transformation. Instead of saying, "I will try to be disciplined," say, "I am a disciplined person." Instead of forcing yourself to work hard when you feel like procrastinating, design an environment where distractions are eliminated and focus is automatic. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate self-leadership is to master emotional control. Life will throw obstacles at you: stress, setbacks, criticism, and failures. But your ability to manage your emotions determines how successful you become. Most people react impulsively, letting anger, frustration, or fear dictate their choices. True self-leadership means recognizing your emotions without letting them control you. When you feel overwhelmed, instead of reacting, take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself, what would the best version of me do in this situation? By responding with clarity rather than emotion, you gain control over your life. Another key to self-leadership is the 80-20 rule, a principle that states that 20% of your actions create 80% of your results. Most people waste their time and energy on low-value activities, scrolling social media, binge-watching content, or engaging in meaningless conversations. To become your best self, you must identify the 20% of actions that generate the most growth. This might be reading, exercising, building a skill, or deep work on a meaningful project. The most successful people don't do more. They do what matters most with absolute focus. Self-leadership is about setting priorities and protecting your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. To strengthen your leadership, look at your daily habits. If your current routines don't align with the future you want, change them. Wake up earlier, exercise daily, read books that challenge your thinking, and surround yourself with high-achieving people. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. If you spend time with people who lack ambition, complain, and waste their potential, you will inevitably absorb their mindset. But if you surround yourself with disciplined, growth-oriented individuals, their habits will become your habits. Your circle determines your trajectory. Choose wisely. At the core of self-leadership is one simple truth: you must become your own role model. If you were watching a version of yourself as a character in a movie, would you be inspired by their actions, mindset, and discipline? If the answer is no, it's time to rewrite the script. Stop waiting for external motivation and start leading yourself with unshakable determination. When you embody the qualities you admire in others, discipline, confidence, integrity, resilience, you won't need outside validation. You will have built a version of yourself that you respect. Starting today, take full ownership of your growth. Define your values, eliminate distractions, and commit to high-impact habits. When challenges arise, don't look for an excuse, look for a way forward. If you make self-leadership a daily practice, you won't just become better, you will become unstoppable. Number 3. Law of averages, the success formula. Success is not a mystery. It follows a predictable pattern. Those who achieve their goals are not necessarily more talented, smarter, or luckier than others. They simply understand and apply the law of averages, a principle that governs every area of life, whether in business, sports, relationships, or personal growth. Success is largely a numbers game. The more you try, the more opportunities you create. And the more you refine your approach, the higher your chances of winning. Most people fail, not because they lack potential, but because they give up too soon. They attempt something a few times, face rejection or failure, and assume they are not cut out for it. But those who succeed know that failure is not an endpoint. It's part of the process. The law of averages states that if you do something often enough, a ratio of success will begin to appear. If a beginner in sales speaks to 10 potential clients, maybe only one will buy. That's a 1 in 10 ratio. If they talk to another 10, they will likely get another sale. With practice, their ratio may improve to 2 in 10, then 3 in 10 as their skills sharpen. The same applies to every area of life. If you apply for jobs, approach people in social situations, or start new projects, your first few attempts may fail. But over time, if you persist, your chances of success improve. The biggest mistake people make is assuming rejection is personal. It's not. Rejection, failure, and setbacks are simply part of the numbers game. Once you embrace this reality, you stop fearing failure and start using it as a stepping stone toward growth. Success at its core is about volume and consistency. The people who achieve the most are not necessarily those who make perfect decisions, but those who make more attempts. They take more shots, have more conversations, produce more work, and put themselves in situations where success becomes inevitable. The average person hesitates, overthinks, and delays action because they are afraid of looking foolish or making mistakes. But the truth is, every successful person started as a beginner, making countless mistakes before mastering their craft. They did not wait for the perfect moment. They created opportunities by taking action over and over again. If you want to improve your success rate, increase your effort. If you are getting rejected 10 times, try 100 times. If your skills are not yielding results, practice more. The law of averages rewards those who stay in the game long enough for their efforts to compound. There is another side to this principle. Failure is predictable, but so is success. If you understand that success is built on patterns, you can work smarter by analyzing your results. Keep track of what works and what doesn't. If you make 10 attempts and succeed once, study that success and find ways to replicate it. Did you communicate differently? Did you put in more effort? Did you adjust your strategy? The most successful people are not just those who work the hardest, but those who learn the fastest. They take failures as feedback, tweak their approach, and improve their odds over time. Growth is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about extracting lessons from every mistake and using them to refine your strategy. The law of averages also explains why some people seem to get all the opportunities, while others struggle. The reality is, they are simply putting themselves in more situations where opportunities can occur. If someone applies for 10 jobs and gets rejected by all 10, they might feel like a failure. But if they apply for 100, their chances of landing an offer dramatically increase. If an entrepreneur launches one business and it fails, they may feel discouraged. But if they launch 5 different businesses, one is likely to succeed. The same logic applies to relationships, creativity, and personal growth. The more you put yourself out there, the greater your chances of finding success. Most people underestimate the sheer volume of effort required to break through mediocrity. They try something a few times, get discouraged and quit, never realizing that success was just a few more attempts away. If you truly understood that every rejection brings you closer to success, would you let failure stop you? Would you let setbacks define you? Or would you keep pushing forward, knowing that success is inevitable if you stay in the game long enough? The only real failure is quitting too soon. Everything else is just part of the process. Starting today, reframe your failures as stepping stones. Track your progress, study your patterns, and improve your ratio through repetition. If you want better results, take more action. If you are not seeing success yet, double or triple your efforts. The law of averages works in your favor if you use it correctly. Stop waiting, stop hesitating, and start increasing your efforts. When you play the numbers game long enough, success is no longer a matter of if, it becomes a matter of when. Number 4, designing your environment for success. Your environment is shaping you more than you realize. Every day, the people you interact with, the places you spend your time in, and the information you consume are either pushing you toward becoming your best self or pulling you away from it. Most people assume success is purely about discipline and motivation. But the reality is that your surroundings play a massive role in determining your habits, mindset, and overall growth. If you struggle with productivity, consistency, or focus, the first thing to examine is not your willpower, but your environment. People are often unaware of how much their surroundings influence their behavior. Studies show that we tend to mirror the habits of those around us. If you spend time with people who lack ambition, complain about their problems, and avoid personal growth, you will naturally adopt their mindset. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with disciplined, motivated, and success-driven individuals, their habits will rub off on you. This is known as the 5-person rule. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to transform your life, start by evaluating your circle. Ask yourself, are the people around me inspiring me to be better, or are they keeping me stuck? If they are not helping you grow, it's time to limit their influence and seek out those who push you toward your highest potential. Your physical space also plays a crucial role in shaping your success. Cluttered, chaotic environments lead to a cluttered, chaotic mind. If your workspace is filled with distractions, you will struggle to focus. If your home encourages laziness and mindless entertainment, you will naturally fall into unproductive habits. High performers design their environment with intention. They set up their space to make good habits easy and bad habits difficult. If you want to read more, place books in visible areas where you can easily pick them up. If you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your house and stock your kitchen with nutritious options. If you want to be more productive, eliminate unnecessary distractions and create a dedicated workspace that signals your brain that it's time to work. Small changes in your environment lead to big changes in your behavior over time. Another overlooked aspect of environment design is the digital world. In today's age, your online environment is just as important as your physical surroundings. The content you consume daily influences your thoughts, emotions, and actions. If you spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to others, and consuming negative news, your mindset will be affected. On the other hand, if you deliberately curate your digital space, following educational content, listening to inspiring podcasts, and engaging in meaningful conversations, you will start feeding your mind with the right inputs. The key is to be intentional about what you expose yourself to. If you want to develop a success-oriented mindset, immerse yourself in content that aligns with that goal. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation alone. They engineer their environment to support their goals, so that success becomes automatic. They structure their days in a way that minimizes distractions and maximizes focus. They carefully choose the people they associate with, ensuring that they are constantly challenged to grow. They optimize their workspace to promote creativity and efficiency. They create an online experience that fuels their mind rather than drains their energy. The good news is that anyone can do the same. You don't need unlimited willpower or self-discipline to transform your life. You just need to set up your environment so that the right choices become the default. If you are serious about creating your best self, Start by taking control of your surroundings. Remove anything that is holding you back, whether it's toxic relationships, a distracting workspace, unhealthy foods, or time-wasting digital habits. Replace them with elements that inspire, energize, and align with your vision of success. The more intentional you become about your environment, the less you will need to rely on discipline to make the right choices. Your surroundings will do the heavy lifting for you. When your environment is designed for growth, success stops feeling like an uphill battle and starts becoming your natural state. Number 5. Mastering time and energy. Time is the one resource you can never get back, and energy is the force that determines how effectively you use it. Most people waste both without realizing it. Trapped in cycles of procrastination, exhaustion, and inefficient work. They complain about never having enough time, but the truth is, it's not a time problem. It's a priority, an energy problem. The most successful people in the world don't have more hours in the day. They simply manage their time and energy better through intentional rituals. If you want to create your best self, you must learn to master both. The first step to taking control of your time is understanding where it's going. Many people think they are busy, but in reality, they are just distracted. They spend hours scrolling through their phones, engaging in pointless conversations, or multitasking between tasks without accomplishing anything meaningful. If you don't track your time, you will always feel like you don't have enough of it. The key to breaking free from this cycle is to become intentional about how you spend each hour of your day. Time is either invested in your future or wasted on things that bring no real value. The difference between successful and average people is how they allocate their time toward high-impact activities, the habits and tasks that generate the most growth. One of the most powerful ways to structure your day effectively is through rituals. Morning and nighttime routines set the tone for everything in between. High achievers don't leave their mornings to chance. They design strategically to optimize their focus, energy, and productivity. The first hour of your day determines the rest of your day. If you wake up scrolling through social media, hitting snooze, or rushing out the door in chaos, your mind starts the day in a reactive state. But if you begin with a structured morning ritual, exercising, reading, journaling, or setting intentions, you take control of your mindset before the world has a chance to distract you. The best morning routines don't have to be long. They just have to be consistent. Even a 15-minute ritual that includes movement, reflection, and goal setting can transform your mental state. Just as mornings set the stage for success, nighttime rituals determine the quality of your recovery. Many people sabotage themselves by scrolling through their phones late at night, binge-watching shows, or staying up past their ideal sleep time. Sleep is not just about resting, it is about rebuilding your brain and body for the next day. A well-designed nighttime routine helps you wind down, lower stress, and prepare for a productive tomorrow. Simple habits like turning off screens an hour before bed, reading something inspiring, or planning the next day's top priorities allow your mind to reset. People who fail to manage their nights wake up groggy, unmotivated, and unprepared for the challenges ahead. Success begins the night before. Time management is not just about routines. It's also about eliminating distractions and optimizing deep work. Most people mistake being busy for being productive, but in reality, deep focus is the secret weapon of high performers. Instead of working harder, they work smarter by creating distraction-free time blocks for important tasks. They don't multitask or let their day be controlled by notifications, emails, and constant interruptions. The ability to focus on a single task for an extended period without distraction is becoming rare, but it is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. When you work with deep concentration, you accomplish twice as much in half the time. Equally important to managing time is managing energy levels. No matter how perfectly you plan your day, if your energy is low, you won't execute at your best. Productivity is not just about scheduling tasks. It's about aligning them with your natural energy cycles. Your body follows an internal rhythm, meaning there are times of the day when you are naturally more focused, creative, or physically energized. Successful people align their most important work with their peak energy periods. Instead of forcing yourself to do deep work when you're exhausted, Schedule your most demanding tasks when your energy is highest. Equally important is recovery. Taking intentional breaks, fueling your body with the right foods, and getting enough movement to maintain high performance throughout the day. The reason most people struggle with consistency is that they rely on motivation, which is unpredictable. Instead, high achievers design systems that make success automatic. They structure their days in a way that removes decision fatigue so they don't waste energy thinking about what to do next. If you always have to decide whether to work out, read, or focus, you will eventually choose the easier option. But if these habits are built into your daily rituals, they happen effortlessly. This is why structured routines remove the need for willpower. They create a flow where the right actions become second nature. To master your time and energy, you must first audit your current habits. If your daily actions don't align with the future you want, change them. Design a morning ritual that primes you for success. Create a nighttime routine that enhances recovery, and structure your work around deep focus sessions. Stop wasting time on meaningless activities and start optimizing for high-impact tasks. When you take control of your time and energy, you take control of your life. Your success is simply a reflection of how well you manage both. Number 6. Building bulletproof habits. Your life is a reflection of your habits. Every result you experience, your health, your wealth, your relationships, and your mindset, can be traced back to the small, repeated actions you take every day. The problem is that most people focus on big, dramatic changes, hoping for overnight success, when in reality, lasting transformation comes from small, consistent improvements over time. The key to building your best self is not just about working harder. It's about developing the right habits that create momentum and make success inevitable. The biggest reason why people struggle to change is that they approach habits the wrong way. They rely on motivation, which is inconsistent, and they set goals that are too big and unrealistic to sustain. They try to overhaul their entire life in a day, only to burn out and revert to their old ways. True transformation doesn't come from setting impossible goals. It comes from mastering small, powerful habits that compound over time. This is where the concept of keystone habits comes in. A keystone habit is one small habit that, when developed, has a positive ripple effect on other areas of life. Instead of trying to change everything at once, focusing on just one keystone habit can trigger multiple positive behaviors without extra effort. For example, regular exercise is a keystone habit. When you commit to working out consistently, you naturally start eating healthier, sleeping better, and feeling more confident without forcing those changes. Another example is journaling daily. When you write down your thoughts, you develop mental clarity, emotional control, and a sense of direction, which impacts your overall decision-making. Waking up early is another keystone habit. When you start your day with intention, you gain more control over your time, reduce stress, and improve productivity. The key is to find the keystone habit that has the greatest impact on your life, and make it the foundation of your daily routine. Most people fail to build habits because they make the process too difficult from the start. They decide to work out, but commit to an intense 60-minute workout every day, only to give up after a week. They want to read more but aim for an entire book in a few days, only to feel overwhelmed. The secret to habit building is starting small, so small that it's impossible to fail. This is known as the 2-minute rule, a powerful method to make any habit stick. The idea is simple. Shrink the habit down to something so easy that it requires no effort or motivation to complete. Instead of committing to an hour at the gym, start with just 5 push-ups. Instead of reading for an hour, read 1 page. Instead of meditating for 20 minutes, start with 1 deep breath. The goal is not the task itself, but the act of showing up consistently. Once the habit is built, it naturally grows on its own. Another powerful principle in habit formation is habit stacking. This method involves attaching a new habit to an existing one, making it easier to remember and integrate into your routine. For example, if you already drink coffee every morning, you can attach a habit of reading 1 page of a book before drinking it. If you brush your teeth every night, you can attach a habit of writing down 3 things you're grateful for afterward. When a habit is linked to an existing behavior, it becomes effortless to repeat. This eliminates the need for reminders and makes the habit automatic. But building habits is not just about starting, it's about sticking with them long enough for them to become part of your identity. This is why tracking progress is essential. When you visually see the consistency of your habits, you create positive reinforcement. A simple method to track habits is using a habit tracker, where you mark off each day you successfully complete your habit. The psychological effect of keeping a streak going makes you more likely to stay consistent. The longer you maintain a habit, the harder it becomes to break. The final key to building bulletproof habits is understanding the role of identity and behavior change. Most people try to build habits by focusing on what they want to do. But the most effective way to create lasting change is to focus on who you want to become. Instead of setting a goal to run 3 times a week, shift your mindset to becoming a runner. Instead of trying to eat healthy, start identifying as someone who prioritizes nutrition. When you associate your habits with your identity, they stop feeling like tasks and start feeling like natural extensions of who you are. The question you should ask yourself is not, what habit should I build, but what kind of person do I want to become? Once you have that answer, build habits that align with that identity. The biggest mistake people make is quitting after missing a day. They assume that skipping one workout or forgetting to read for a day means they have failed. But missing once is not failure. Giving up is. The true secret to mastering habits is simple. Never miss twice. If life gets in the way and you break the habit one day, get back on track the next. Success is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent enough that failure never becomes the dominant pattern. If you want to transform your life, forget about overnight success and focus on the small daily actions that lead to massive results over time. Find your keystone habit. Start ridiculously small, stack habits together, track your progress, and align your actions with your identity. Over time, these small habits will shape you into a stronger, smarter, more disciplined version of yourself. The key to success is not one massive breakthrough, it's thousands of tiny wins stacked on top of each other. Number 7. The art of execution, turning ideas into reality. Ideas are worthless without execution. No matter how great your vision is, no matter how detailed your plans are, they mean nothing if they remain trapped in your mind. The difference between successful people and those who stay stuck is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the ability to take action consistently. The world is full of people with good intentions who never follow through. They wait for the perfect moment, overanalyze every detail, and let fear hold them back. But the truth is, execution is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Most people fail to take action, not because they don't know what to do, but because they overcomplicate the process. They believe they need to have everything figured out before they start. But this mindset leads to paralysis by analysis. They keep researching, planning, and waiting for the perfect conditions. But those conditions never come. High achievers operate differently. They understand that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. They take the first step even when they don't have all the answers, trusting that clarity will come through action. Progress is made through momentum, and momentum is only created by moving forward, not by waiting. One of the biggest traps people fall into is relying on motivation to take action. They wait until they feel inspired, but motivation is temporary and unreliable. It comes and goes based on mood, circumstances, and energy levels. If you only work when you feel like it, you will never accomplish anything meaningful. Discipline, not motivation, is the true driver of success. The most effective way to ensure execution is to remove the need for decision-making. When you have to decide whether to work on your goal every day, you create mental resistance. But if you turn execution into a habit, it becomes automatic. The secret is to make action non-negotiable, just like brushing your teeth or eating meals. When something becomes part of your identity and daily routine, you stop questioning it. You just do it. Another powerful strategy to improve execution is the 5-second rule, developed by Mel Robbins. The concept is simple. When you feel hesitation before taking action, count down from 5 and then move. The reason this works is that hesitation triggers self-doubt, and the longer you wait, the more your brain will create excuses. By acting before your mind talks you out of it, you override fear and procrastination. The hardest part of any task is starting. Once you begin, momentum takes over, and finishing becomes much easier. To master execution, you must also eliminate the distractions that slow you down. In today's world, most people struggle with focus, not because they lack willpower, but because they are constantly interrupted. Social media, notifications, and endless entertainment steal time and attention, making it harder to get into deep work. The solution is to create an environment where execution is the default. Remove distractions, set clear work blocks, and develop the habit of single tasking instead of jumping between activities. When you give your full attention to one task at a time, you accomplish more in a few focused hours than most people do in an entire day. Procrastination is another major barrier to execution, and the best way to defeat it is by breaking big tasks into micro actions. Most people delay action because their goals feel overwhelming. Writing a book, starting a business, or getting in shape seems like a massive challenge, so they never start. But when you break these goals into small, manageable steps, action becomes easier. Instead of saying, "I need to write a book," commit to writing one paragraph today. Instead of "I need to get in shape," start with a 10-minute workout. Success is built on small daily wins that add up over time. Execution also requires accountability. When you keep your goals to yourself, it's easy to make excuses. But when you make a public commitment, track your progress, or involve others in your journey, you create pressure to follow through. This is why athletes, entrepreneurs, and high performers use coaches, mentors, or accountability partners to stay on track. The key is to set deadlines and hold yourself responsible for results. If you don't create external accountability, you risk falling into the trap of endless excuses. Finally, execution is about developing a bias for action. High achievers don't overthink. They make decisions quickly and adjust as they go. They embrace failure as part of the process and understand that mistakes are learning opportunities, not reasons to stop. They are willing to look foolish, fail publicly, and face setbacks because they know that taking action, even imperfect action, is better than standing still. Fear of failure kills more dreams than failure itself. If you want to create your best self, you must train yourself to take action without hesitation. Starting today, commit to execution over perfection. If you have a goal, take the smallest possible step toward it right now. Stop waiting for motivation, stop overanalyzing, and stop making excuses. The fastest way to get unstuck is to start moving. When you develop the habit of action, everything in your life changes. You will become more confident, more disciplined, and more successful. Not because you had the perfect plan, but because you dared to take the first step. Number 8. Overcoming setbacks. How to turn failure into fuel. Failure is one of the greatest fears that hold people back from reaching their full potential. The fear of making mistakes, looking foolish, or falling short of expectations keeps many trapped in inaction. But the truth is, failure is not something to be avoided. It is something to be leveraged. Every successful person, without exception, has failed more times than the average person has even tried. The difference is in how they respond to setbacks. Those who achieve greatness do not see failure as the end. They see it as a necessary step toward success. If you learn to use failure as fuel instead of as an excuse to quit, you will unlock a level of resilience that makes you unstoppable. The first step in overcoming setbacks is changing your perspective on failure. Most people take failure personally, seeing it as proof that they are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. But failure is never a reflection of your worth. It is simply feedback. Every time you fail, you gain valuable data on what doesn't work, what needs to improve, and what adjustments must be made. The most successful individuals actively seek out failure because they understand that each failed attempt brings them one step closer to the right solution. The only real failure is giving up too soon. Everything else is just part of the process. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with failure is that they are too emotionally attached to outcomes. They define success as achieving a specific result, and anything less feels like a loss. But true progress is not about reaching a fixed destination. It is about learning, growing, and improving with each step. If you focus only on results, every setback will feel like a defeat. But if you shift your mindset to see growth as the real success, you will never be discouraged by failure again. Instead of asking, "Did I succeed?" ask, "Did I learn? Did I grow? Did I show up and try?" If the answer is yes, then you are winning, regardless of the outcome. Another key to overcoming setbacks is developing emotional resilience. When things don't go as planned, the natural response is frustration, disappointment, or even self-doubt. But dwelling on negative emotions does nothing to move you forward. Instead, train yourself to respond rationally, not emotionally. When faced with a setback, take a step back and ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I adjust and improve?" High achievers are not immune to failure. They have simply built the ability to bounce back faster than others. They do not waste time complaining or feeling sorry for themselves. They analyze, adapt, and take the next step forward. Number 9. The psychology of confidence and charisma. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build. Most people assume that confident individuals were just naturally gifted with self-assurance. But in reality, confidence is a skill that is developed through action, experience, and mindset shifts. The same applies to charisma, the ability to command attention, connect with others, and influence people in a positive way. If you want to create your best self, mastering confidence and charisma is essential, because how you see yourself determines how the world sees you. When you project certainty, people respect and trust you. When you doubt yourself, others will too. The biggest mistake people make when trying to develop confidence is waiting until they feel ready. They believe that once they have more success, more experience, or better circumstances, then they will finally be confident. But this approach is completely backward. Confidence does not come before action. It comes from action. The only way to become confident in anything is to do it repeatedly until you prove to yourself that you are capable. The first time you do something, it feels uncomfortable. The second time, it feels slightly better. By the 10th or 20th time, it feels natural. Confidence is nothing more than the result of competence, and competence is built through consistent practice and exposure. The more you do something, the more familiar it becomes, and the more natural confidence you develop. One of the most effective ways to build confidence is to change the way you speak to yourself. Most people have an inner voice that constantly criticizes them, reinforcing self-doubt. They think thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," "I always mess things up," or "I don't deserve success." But the words you tell yourself become your reality. If you repeatedly feed your mind negative thoughts, your brain will accept them as truth. The most successful and confident individuals train their inner voice to work for them, not against them. Instead of thinking, "I can't do this," they tell themselves, "I am learning how to do this." Instead of, "I always fail," they say, "Every setback is making me stronger." Shifting your self-talk from doubt to empowerment is one of the fastest ways to rewire your confidence levels. Confidence is also heavily influenced by body language. Your posture, eye contact, and the way you carry yourself send powerful signals to your brain and to others around you. Studies show that standing tall, maintaining strong posture, and making deliberate movements instantly boost feelings of confidence. People who slouch, avoid eye contact, and shrink themselves communicate insecurity, both to themselves and to those they interact with. If you want to feel more confident, start by adjusting your body language. Stand up straight, your chin up, and take up space. When you walk into a room, do it with presence, as if you belong there. The way you move and present yourself affects not only how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. Charisma, like confidence, is a learned skill. Many believe that charismatic people have an unexplainable magnetism, but in reality, charisma is built on specific behaviors that can be developed. The foundation of charisma is genuine presence, the ability to make others feel heard, valued, and understood. One of the biggest mistakes people make in social interactions is thinking too much about themselves, what they should say next, how they are being perceived, or whether they are making a good impression. But true charisma is not about focusing on yourself. It's about fully engaging with others. When you listen deeply, maintain strong eye contact, and show real interest in people, they will naturally be drawn to you. Another key to charisma is learning how to communicate with certainty. People are naturally attracted to those who express themselves with confidence. If you speak hesitantly, constantly seek approval, or doubt your own words, others will feel the same uncertainty. But when you own your words, speak with clarity, and express yourself unapologetically, people take notice. This doesn't mean being arrogant or dominating conversations. It means trusting your voice and expressing your thoughts with conviction. Even if you are unsure about something, communicate with clarity and self-assurance. Both confidence and charisma are strengthened by stepping outside your comfort zone regularly. If you avoid social situations, challenging conversations, or new experiences, you reinforce the idea that you are not capable. But if you push yourself to engage more, take small social risks, and expose yourself to uncomfortable situations, you train your brain to handle pressure. Over time, these experiences build resilience, and what once felt intimidating becomes second nature. Every time you stretch your comfort zone, you expand your confidence. The key to lasting confidence and charisma is consistency. Small daily actions, improving your self-talk, adjusting your posture, making eye contact, and speaking with clarity, add up over time. Confidence is built through repetition, not through a single event. You must train it like a muscle. The more you practice confident behaviors, the more they become a natural part of who you are. Becoming your best self requires not just developing skills and habits, but also projecting confidence and charisma into the world. When you believe in yourself, others believe in you. When you carry yourself with certainty, people are drawn to you. The way you show up determines the opportunities, relationships, and experiences that come your way. Confidence and charisma are not traits reserved for the lucky few. They are skills that anyone, including you, can develop. And when you do, you won't just change how you see yourself, you will change how the world sees you. Number 10, becoming unstoppable. Becoming your best self is not about achieving perfection. It is about constant evolution. The greatest mistake people make in personal development is believing that transformation has a final destination. They think that once they reach a certain level of success, confidence, or discipline, their journey is complete. But the truth is, personal growth is a lifelong process. The most successful, fulfilled, and powerful individuals are those who commit to continuous self-improvement. Not for a few months, not for a year, but for a lifetime. If you truly want to become unstoppable, you must embrace the mindset that growth never ends. The secret to lasting success, momentum. Most people start strong but lose motivation when progress slows down. They work hard in the beginning, but when results don't come as fast as they expect, they quit. What they fail to realize is that success works like a snowball rolling downhill. In the early stages, the progress feels slow, almost insignificant. But as you keep going, your efforts compound and suddenly, breakthroughs begin to happen. The people who succeed are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who push through when things get difficult. They understand that greatness is built in the moments when no one is watching, when there is no immediate reward, when every part of them wants to stop. But they choose to keep going anyway. One of the key traits of unstoppable people is the ability to adapt. No matter how well you plan, life will throw unexpected challenges your way. Things will not always go according to your vision. If you rely on rigid strategies or expect everything to unfold perfectly, you will become frustrated and discouraged. The strongest individuals are not those who resist change, but those who embrace it. They see obstacles as opportunities, failures as lessons, and setbacks as redirections. Instead of getting stuck in the past or feeling paralyzed by uncertainty, they adjust their approach and move forward. The ability to pivot when necessary is what keeps you ahead in an ever-changing world. Another crucial factor in becoming unstoppable is learning how to master your emotions. Most people are controlled by their feelings. They only take action when they feel motivated, and they stop when they feel discouraged. But emotions are unreliable. They fluctuate based on external events, fatigue, and stress. If you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, you will always be inconsistent. The most powerful individuals train themselves to take action regardless of how they feel. They don't let fear, doubt, or temporary frustration hold them back. They have learned that discipline is the antidote to emotional resistance. When you develop the ability to act despite your feelings, you unlock a level of power that most people never experience. Unstoppable people also understand the power of resilience. Life will test you. You will face rejection, criticism, failure, and setbacks. The question is not whether you will encounter challenges. The question is how you will respond. Will you let difficulties break you, or will you use them to become stronger? The people who accomplish extraordinary things in life are not the ones who had an easy path. They are the ones who kept going when everything seemed to be against them. They used every failure as fuel, every rejection as motivation, and every obstacle as proof that they were getting closer to their breakthrough. The key to resilience is realizing that pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. Every difficulty you face is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. One of the final elements of becoming unstoppable is developing an unshakable belief in yourself. Most people seek validation from others. They wait for permission to pursue their goals. They let external opinions shape their self-worth. But truly powerful individuals do not need approval. They know their value, trust their instincts, and have full confidence in their abilities. They do not waste time doubting themselves because they understand that belief is a choice. The moment you decide to fully believe in yourself, everything changes. Opportunities start to appear, people start to respect you, and success becomes inevitable. Self-doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will, and the only way to rise above is to make a firm decision that you are capable, worthy, and destined for greatness. The final transformation into your best self does not happen in a single moment. It is a continuous commitment to excellence. It is waking up every day and choosing growth over comfort. It is making decisions based on who you want to become, not based on how you feel in the moment. It is training your mind to be resilient, your body to be strong, and your spirit to be unbreakable. If you apply everything you have learned in this journey, you will become someone that others admire, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. You are capable of more than you can imagine. You have everything within you to create an extraordinary life, but the choice is yours. Will you step up and take full control of your destiny, or will you stay trapped in the patterns of hesitation and self-doubt? The answer will determine the life you create. You are no longer the person you were when you started this journey. You have the tools, the mindset, and the knowledge. Now, it is time to act. No more waiting, no more excuses. Become the unstoppable force you were meant to be. The journey to becoming your best self is not just about changing a few habits or setting new goals. It is about transforming who you are at the core. Throughout this process, you have learned that success is not based on luck, talent, or external circumstances. It is built through self-leadership, discipline, execution, resilience, and an unwavering belief in yourself. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to take action and commit to continuous growth. Most people never reach their full potential because they wait. They wait for the perfect time, the right opportunity, or a sudden burst of motivation. But those who create an extraordinary life don't wait. They act. They take control of their identity, build unshakable confidence, develop habits that guarantee success, and push through setbacks with relentless determination. They do not rely on motivation. They rely on systems, discipline, and a mindset that refuses to accept mediocrity. Your best self is not something you find, it is something you create. You are not defined by your past mistakes, your current circumstances, or the limitations others have placed on you. You are defined by what you choose to do next. Right now, in this moment, you have the power to step into a higher version of yourself, to rewrite your story, and to take full ownership of your future. But knowing this is not enough. The real question is, what will you do now? Will you take this knowledge and let it sit in your mind, or will you take action? Will you step up and claim the life you deserve, or will you continue to wait for the right time that never comes? The choice is entirely yours. If you commit to this path, in 6 months, a year, or 5 years from now, you will look back and realize that today was the day everything changed. Today was the day you stopped making excuses. Today was the day you decided to become unstoppable. The only thing left to do is act. Your best self is waiting. It's time to go after it.